Today we're going to talk about a band that was specifically requested by you guys. Let the record show, this video is simply to talk about Pantera's music, and music alone. I'm just here for the riffs. I want to start off by saying that Pantera obviously has more albums than the ones I cover today. If you want me to cover their first 4 albums, leave a comment below and I'll check them out. But first, we're gonna start off with Cowboys from Hell. Cowboys from Hell, Cowboys from Hell. Name a harder title for a harder song. His voice is so cool to me. I didn't expect his high-pitched screaming vocals at all. It kind of makes sense with where the band started though, but all the Pantera I've heard has been what it is now. So when I heard his high-pitched like, I was like, how did we get here? And where did we go? Cowboys from Hell, the song is 10 out of 10. Primal Concrete Sledge. Their drums, like the snare and double bass tone, is literally giving Beast and the Harlot. I don't like this song as much as Cowboys from Hell, but like it gives me the Slayer bell, which always, you guys know. You know what the Slayer bell does to me. Psycho Holiday has an interesting intro. I know at this point it's not the 80s anymore, but it sounds like it's in like every 80s movie ever. However, I do like this song even less than the one before it. It doesn't really sound like Pantera to me, but I feel like they're kind of discovering their sound, figuring out what that is through this album. I think it's called Heresy or Hearsay or Hearsay. That song sucks. His vocals are confusing to me because I feel, again, like he's going for still those glam metal vocals and it's just not landing to me. It's not making sense with the music. Maybe I'm uncultured. I just doesn't make sense. Not here. Cemetery Gates starts slow and I want to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't want it. Yes, I know it gets heavy later on, but that doesn't fix his voice. Creed taught us that heaviness can save a lot, but heaviness doesn't always save the vocals. But then Domination literally brought me back to life. Hi Pantera, how you doing? How are you? This is what I've been waiting for. I've missed you since Cowboys from Hell, the song. The ending of Domination made me want to like actually punch so many people. Not even just my enemies, just the general population. Like I could never see Pantera live because I would be a danger to those around me. And I'm like 6'1", so that's just a bad combination. Shattered is weird. I can't decide at this point if I love or hate his high vocals. Because again, it's not what I expected. I don't totally hate it, but it still like catches me off guard because I feel like sometimes his vocals aren't matching like the heaviness of the song and they're not adding to it either. I feel like they're almost taking away from the heaviness. We have Clash with Reality. I'm really just gonna say it's not one of their strongest songs. Medicine Man has a very long intro, but I didn't hate this song. It's got like a sick beat. The verses are a bit weird, but I feel his high vocals actually make sense with this song. And like the chorus riff goes hard as frick. In Message in Blood, the kick was like so girthy and heavy, and listening to it with my headphones on, it felt like I was actually at a live show. Live show mention. I'm always mentioning a live show in these videos, but like it sounded great. The verse was also like kind of giving Primus. I don't know how I feel about that, but I didn't hate it. So there you go. The Sleep intro literally sounded like the load screen for Age of Empires 2. If you know, you know. So we have The Art of Shredding, and to be honest with you, I had high expectations for this song just because of the title. It has like good moments for sure. I'm not a huge fan of the verses, but usually their choruses kind of reel me back in. So that was another example of that. The ending of the song sounded like I was being abducted by aliens. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up The Art of Shredding and go to the end. And tell me you're not in a UFO. Cowboys from Hell was an adventure. I loved it. I hated it. I want more. The album itself is pretty middle ground for me. And every time I give like my review of the album, I cringe inside because I don't know what everyone else thinks about these albums. I'm just like, for me listening to it once, these are my thoughts, but it's pretty middle ground for me. It does have some bangers, obviously. I have no idea, like right now in this moment, no idea where I will end up ranking this because I haven't even made the list yet. That's how like confusing the adventure is to me, is filming this right now. I have not made up my mind. Let's move on to the next one. This album has like insanely cool album art. I need it. I need it on a wall flag on my ceiling so I can just wake up to that shit every day. It starts with Mouth for War, and it's a great start because anytime I've listened to Pantera in my life, this is always like what I'm expecting. We've got the riffs, his vocals sound amazing, got the ride, and we've got the sass. And y'all know how I feel about some sass. And then A New Level. What is going on, Pantera? It's disgusting. I almost threw up. If A New Level played at my gym, I'm convinced I would get jacked in like 4 days. Of course, we have the song Walk. Like, come on. Forever, this was the only Pantera song that I ever knew, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people like me that Walk was like that's Pantera. That's all you need to listen to. I've heard it so much in my life, and yet still coming back to it for this project, like, I did listen to the whole thing. I just respect it so much more now and appreciate it. Absolutely iconic. Fucking Hostile is next. Starts with an explosion of energy, which I love. The song rocks, zero complaints. Look at me being like pretty nice to a band for once. I think what it is I'm scared of Pantera fans, but also like none of their stuff has been that bad yet. When This Love starts, it sounds like Nirvana, but like it didn't go where I expected it to. It came in hot after like a slower, more mellow song. It goes back and forth from slow to like heavy, and for some godforsaken reason, I actually liked that. But then it goes into like literally the heaviest breakdown ever. I couldn't even like form thoughts or words. And then from there we go into Rise, which made me want to set everything on fire. No Good, Attack the Radical has a dope intro. Intros can like make or break for me, by the way. They're just so locked in on this album, and I don't think anyone is as sassy as Phil. His vocals are like insane. Live in a Hole is poggers. I literally typed this out and then I'm forced to read it later, and I just can't believe I wrote that. It is though. Regular People, Conceit is great. I'm finding that I always look forward to what's gonna happen at the end of a song, because it always like switches it up in some way toward the end. It's like, oh, didn't expect that. Oh, didn't see that coming. It gives me something to look forward to. By Demons, Be Driven wasn't their best, but not every song can be a banger. Like, let's be real. That would be weird if every song was a banger. The album ends with Hollow, and it sounds like Nightmare era Avenged Sevenfold. And just keep in mind, you're gonna hear a lot of that on this video because Avenged Sevenfold's my favorite band. Hello. Hi. So I just hear other bands influence in Avenged Sevenfold, if that makes sense, like Metallica. Now I'm hearing Pantera in Avenged Sevenfold, so I do make that connection a lot, but I'm not mad about it. Not even one little bit. As far as vulgar display of power, so many disgusting songs on this album. We have Walk, we have Rise, we have A New Level, and honestly, I just can't believe it. Like, I didn't know all these amazing songs fell on the same album. The album rocks, the album art rocks. I have barely any complaints. So let's move on to the next one. Next, we have Far Beyond Driven, and I was looking at the track list and I was pretty sure like I've never heard any of these songs in my life. This is my first time. It starts with Strength Beyond Strength, which I think is a great song. Like, Pantera was made for two-stepping, and it makes me want to become better at two-stepping. Becoming is pretty good. I like the drums in that song a lot. Drums are huge for me. I like the fast drums with like a slower riff that always just like blows me out of the water. For Becoming though, I want to say kind of middle to end, it lost me because it didn't really go anywhere. I was just like, oh, I'm becoming bored. 5 Minutes Alone, I'm not too sure about this one as it starts. I'm Broken was actually probably their first song in a long time that I really didn't care for at all. Like, I did not like I'm Broken at all. Actually, same with Good Friends and A Bottle of Pills. I was like, not into it. Hardline Sunken Cheeks gets like Crowbar level heavy. I was like, huh? The heaviness blew me away. I liked the heaviness, didn't necessarily like the song. He's almost got like a pig squeal kind of sound in the song Slaughtered, which I don't know if I've heard him do that too much before. It just sounded so cool. Shedding Skin was okay, not their best. Use My Third Arm. I like that song. I think it goes hard. Now, is it Throes of Rejection? Because I read that over and over. I don't know, because when I type it into my Google Doc, it like underlines it, like it's not a real word, but Throes of Rejection goes hard. And the album ends with Planet Caravan. Weird intro. Very, very, very strange way to end an album, specifically a Pantera album. What the hell is going on? Far Beyond Driven, not their strongest, but it was still good. There were definitely songs that I loved on this album. I compare to albums before in what I know is coming after, so it's just not, it's not my favorite, but they do have definitely good songs on that album, so we'll see where it ends up, but let's go to the next one. The Great Southern Trendkill. Well, this album starts off with a bang. We've got the title track, The Great Southern Trendkill. This song was super heavy, and I loved it. We've got the fade out at the end into War Nerve. I like the groove of the intro on War Nerve. Pantera is like the master of riffs that makes me want to get into a fight and or do an 8-hour workout. We've got Drag the Waters by Avenged Sevenfold, Pantera. His vocals, by the way, Phil on The Great Southern Trendkill, 10 out of 10 vocals, like just across this entire album. Pantera is really good at breaking their songs up while like simultaneously showing off, which is like, what else would you do? Tens has an interesting intro. I'm not sure how I feel about it. 13 Steps to Nowhere starts off with, dude, a sick ass drum intro, but the rest of the song was just okay. The next two songs took me on an emotional adventure. We have Suicide Note Part 1 and 2. When I listened to Part 1, I was thinking, is this what metal guys do? They just go like James Hetfield deciding to do like a country song? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this was Pantera I was listening to. Suicide Note Part 1 was the worst, okay? But then Suicide Note Part 2 resurrected me from the grave. Thank God for Suicide Note Part 2. Like, just day and night difference between the two songs. And I'm not sure if there's some type of story there between the two songs or why one's super slow and one's super like extremely heavy, but I didn't do my research. So there's that. Living Through Me, Hell's Wrath, was great. Again, his voice is just incredible. Didn't like Floods that much, and the drums I noted were just cool and dynamic. In the underground in America, I also love the vocal callback. He's like singing and echoing to himself. Reprise Sandblasted Skin is how they end The Great Southern Trendkill. I got jump scared at the end of this song because I thought the song was over and there's a big gap of silence and then it just comes back extremely intense. They need to put a warning at the end of that song or something because I have a pre-existing heart condition. I could have died. Another great Pantera album overall. There were a few songs I didn't like or didn't understand. Suicide Note Part 1. But overall, honestly, just an awesome Pantera album. Their creativity shined, I think, on this one specifically. Despite me not liking the slower or like weirder songs, I can respect that they didn't keep every single song the same. They did try to switch it up. So we gotta give them that. Big ups to that. Let's do the last one. I can't tell you how excited I was for this album because my favorite Pantera song ever is on this album. But the album starts with Hellbound, and that bass tone is like sickening. I hate using this word, but it's just so girthy. The drums in the song are just insane, like freaking fracking insane. Hellbound isn't their best song, but it's a great album opener, like establish the mood for sure. Goddamn Electric, I couldn't even say that. Goddamn Electric is interesting. It had its heavy moments for sure. There were some parts of the song where I just was like, I think I'm a head out. But overall, I liked it. And then we have Yesterday Don't Mean Shit. No, it does not. It does not mean shit. This is my favorite Pantera song ever, bro. I listen to it every day on my way to work and on my way home from work because it just makes me want to be a better person. I can't say enough good things about Yesterday Don't Mean Shit. I can't say enough good things. Let the record show. I'm at a loss. And then we go into You've Gotta Belong to It. It starts off fucking sick. I don't like his vocal effect when the vocals come in. It sounds like he's singing like 8 houses down and I'm just hearing like a slight echo from where I live. You know what I mean? It's just not quite there. Revolution Is My Name starts off and I'm like, frick, because my migraine is starting to form. I want you guys to know I sit and listen to these albums in one day for the sole purpose of I'm a nobody and what would happen if someone sat and listened to everything they've never heard before and immediately ranked them without like any further knowledge. So I sit and listen to these back to back to back. And by this point, which to be fair, it took a while to get to this point, but at this point, I'm getting a migraine. But thankfully, that song ended in a rad way. Death Rattle is next, so fast, so energetic. I think I was hearing like guitar like dives, and when that's done tastefully, it might even be more important to me than a drum beat. That hurt to say. That's not true. I didn't mean that. Death Rattle is 10 out of 10 from beginning to end. We'll Grind That Axe for a Long Time. Good lord, could you have a longer title? That's like one gripe I have with Pantera is like their song titles are like so dumb to me. The drums on this album have really stood out to me as being like dynamic and on point. Uplift was good. After that was It Makes Them Disappear, which not their best. The album ends with I'll Cast a Shadow. His voice sounds cool on this song. I think this song feels very classic. It's just such a good way to end the album. So about this album as a whole, we've got Yesterday Don't Mean Shit and some other great songs as well. I think it's a pretty good staple in that it has great songs, a lot of energy, and it's pretty dynamic for the style of music that they're going for. So now that we've gone through those 5 albums, it's time for the KGT Awards, where I will rank Pantera's best album, their worst album, their best song, and then rank all of those albums on a tier list, starting from S and probably down to F. Stick around to find out. We're gonna start off these awards the same way that we always do, with their worst album, which I just figured out because I was so lost. I really don't think any of these 5 albums from Pantera were terrible. So ranking a worst for the first time ever was actually really hard for good old good times over here. I did pick one, obviously. It's my legal responsibility to do so. And for their worst album, I've decided on Far Beyond Driven 1994. I just remember not liking this album as much as the others. It's not a bad album, kind of like I just described, but I don't think it can compete with the records before or after it. It just fell short for me. I'm not gonna trash the album, but it just wasn't quite good enough. On to Pantera's best song. I think we can all say this one as a group. Ready? 3, 2, 1, Walk. Did we say the same thing? Let me know in the comments below. I picked Walk for their best song because even though it is very popular and probably overused in some ways, if you ignore all that, it really is a great song. I feel it's all encompassing to really show who Pantera is as a band. Everyone knows Walk. Everyone knows this song. What did you think their best song was? Suicide Note Part 1? And then finally on to their best album, which again, this one was very difficult for me in my little peanut brain, but we did land on one. And I believe their best album is Vulgar Display of Power 1992. I was disgusted listening to this entire album. The entire thing. So many amazing songs. So many iconic songs. I think this album was just so very Pantera, and it ended up being my favorite. But not only that, I just believe in general, it's their best album. So that's best, worst, and best song. Now let's see where I place them all on the tier list, and literally let me know what you guys think. I'm dying to know what like the popular opinion is, because I'm sure it ain't this. Starting in S tier, we have Vulgar Display of Power, because again, I just think it's their best album overall and a great album to listen to. In A, we have, in this order, The Great Southern Trendkill into Reinventing the Steel. Both top-notch albums with just great songs, a great sound overall. Down in B, we have Cowboys from Hell, because in my opinion, it's greater than average, but it's not the best out there. So it's a great album to listen to. I loved it a lot, and I am confident with where I put it in B. And then in C, we have Far Beyond Driven, because again, I am defending my stance that I don't think it's a bad album by any means. I do think it is pretty middle ground and like good. So I put it in C as to not drop it too far down, because I don't think it's that bad. It just didn't compare to the other albums, in my humble opinion. So that's the tier list. This has been the Pantera video. Let me know what you guys think. Genuinely, please help. I need to know what everyone thinks, and I refuse to Google it. I have to hear it from you. What's your favorite Pantera album? What do you think is their worst album? And what's your favorite Pantera song? That's an important one. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Every week is a new video. Every week is a new band. So I'll see you guys next Sunday, and have a great day.